We're back with Shannon Williams, former NFL player, and today we're talking about concussions. Yes. Shannon, I'm going to be honest. I will not let my son play football because I'm fearful of injuries. Is my concern valid?
It could be.
Okay.
It could
Good
be.
start.
Yeah. It's only depending on, whether the child, if he's ready to, take on this sport, because it's a very, very tough sport. I mean.
Well, Shannon, you play in the NFL. Well, you did play in the NFL,
right.
And your players are getting concussions, and there's these injuries. But
right.
Does that start from the fundamentals of the Pee Wee? Does it start where
right.
you learn in Pee Wee
right.
how to hit? Is that really crucial to starting?
Yeah, well, it could be crucial. I mean, depending on the level of the intensity of the game. And I'm only saying that because now you have coaches, they practice with these kids day in and day out, and only the best are can play this sport. And nowadays, you with the concussions that you do have and
right.
stuff like that, I mean, these kids, is from starting from Pee Wee to Pop Warner to, going into middle school and stuff like that.
Right.
It's like you really have to be focused on the, what is this kid's objective? Whether, they're trying to excel in this game, or do they just, want to play it just to play?
But, Shannon, it's hard because as a parent, how do I tell my son no when that's his dream or that's his passion? I want to play football, Mom. How do I tell them no?
Well, I mean, what you do, you let them, let them experience it first. The best teacher is life. Yeah. So, once they get on, the gridiron, as we call it,
right.
that first hit, I've experienced that myself personally. I mean, my first year in high school, my junior year, my first hit that I got, it kind of scared me.
But that's the fear,
yeah.
the first hit.
Right. Well, like I said, because it's a male sport, and, people like to see, with football games and
the entertainment
part of it, exactly. All I can say is, with where we are right now, the famous quote, NFL, not for long.
Not for long.
Right,
yeah.
right, yeah. You have to keep the essence of the game in football. You don't want to take that away, from all the penalties that they do have,
right,
and now
right.
that they just take it's too much going on right now.
Do you think that the NFL is doing enough to educate the Pee Wee League
about
about
I would agree.
injuries?
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree.
Because the heads up program.
Right.
Right.
So they're teaching them at a young age, but is that enough? Because I know you were saying how you're afraid. You're afraid about the equipment.
Right.
You're afraid
right.
about how they're hitting. Mm-hmm. Is the heads up program being implemented?
Well, I would say it is, and the only reason why, because now, I mean, you're having a new type of athlete that is being, developed in the league. From receivers that you get.
Right.
I mean, now the receivers are coming into the league, 6'4", 6'5". You're having some big guys that are playing positions.
360 pounds
exactly.
and running just as fast as a running back.
And the biggest thing that I try to tell a lot of kids when, once they get into the league and stuff like that, that, this is it's a different game. You're having guys that are, massive, running the same speed that you're running.
Yeah.
So then, and that's where, you go back to the, the famous saying, once you get into the league, learn the game, be smart, and you have a lot of guys, because they want to make the team so bad, they sacrifice their bodies.
So as a parent, if I'm looking for a Pee Wee League, what are some of the things that I should be looking for before I even enroll my son?
One thing is a coach, a great coach that definitely can motivate the kids and, definitely make sure that they're on task, that they're doing and taking care of their schoolwork as well,
Okay.
You have a lot of kids that put the game first and then don't worry about their academics.
So the student athlete, you're
exactly.
looking for a coach.
Exactly.
You know what, Shannon? Back to the concussions. I think that's the fear because a lot of these coaches want to just win at any cost.
Right.
And so they put a big picture in the front, but that's not it. So again, coaching, what else? Should they have ample equipment, rehearsal? They treat these kids like athletes.
Right.
Olympic athletes early.
Well, that's the essence of the game because it's a very, very tough game once you get into it. I mean, just like boxing. I mean, it's just very brutal.
Well, but you were in the NFL and you were injured in the NFL.
Right.
Are they doing enough to make sure you're safe after you're injured? I know that the lockout was really big about
yes, it was.
Players getting the benefits that they needed.
Right.
Do you feel like that's...
Yeah, well, I do, but, then again, because you do have a lot of athletes, once they, do go through this transition, I mean, it can affect them long term, you have so many players. I mean, the list, it goes on and on and on.
The news
so
stories
many
go on and
on
about... suicides or
exactly,
Right.
you know, and it plays a big factor because, you know, once you have a kid, you know, from Park Warner to Pee Wee, middle school, high school,
Right.
college, then they get that chance to have the shot in the NFL, you know, that's all they know. So once you
Okay.
take that away from them, then that's where the psychological game, you know, it becomes a big issue. You know, what are they going to do? Do they have a degree to fall back on?
Right.
You know,
Okay.
and it's so important to them.
So
and
do
then-
you think that there should be more rules in the NFL?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm only saying that because of my experience. Yeah, you know,
Right.
I mean, it's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah.
It's really
So
tough.
can we assume if your son will play football?
Yes.
would you put him?
Would you put him in that
No,
situation?
you know, I would leave that up to him. I
Okay.
really would, you know, and just let him determine whether or not this is for him because maybe he would want to run track.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know?
I mean, that's true.
Because I was an athlete, I definitely played sports, and I found like I learned a lot of lessons from
right.
being on a team. And I feel like you want your child to kind of experience some life lessons through your soon-to-be or whatever child.
Yeah, and it's a discipline thing as well.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you learn how to, you know, be on time, you know, study. I mean,
Wow.
it helps you remember,
Right.
you know, a lot of things, you know, especially the different plays that they do have.
Well, Shannon,
know?
you know what I want to tell you? Thank you for that information. I'll still think about it. I don't think I'm going to let him play,
Did he
but
convince you?
can't. A little bit.
You just said be smart. Be
Yeah,
smart
just be
about
smart.
doing
That's
research.
true.
Be smart. I mean, and even with the concussions, you know, being smart will help you stay away from getting
Absolutely.
concussions.
Well, the most important thing is to do your research and be educated. We right back with Every Way Woman. I don't